If you've listened to part one, you've already got a detailed overview of how the industry looks. Now I'm going to give you what the day-to-day life is, starting from scratch. So the first thing you need to do is know exactly what you're looking for in a job and stick to your criteria. Okay, does it have to be downtown? What's the base pay? Do you need $40,000? Do you need a company car? And are those expectations realistic? If you're getting out of school and you've got a nice degree, that you might be able to get that right off the bat, or even better, if you have a nice degree and you're coming from another sales job where you were already getting $35,000 and you had a company car and you had good numbers and stuff like that, then your next job, if you're going to bounce around, should be getting you more money and more perks and more of everything, or it's not going to be worth it. And you've got to stick to your criteria, because if you go in and you talk to the recruiters, they're going to try and sell you on a job that's way out of town, and they'll sell you on anything really. So know what you're looking for and stick to your criteria. But the good thing about sales and selling and sales jobs is that there are so many jobs, and there's always sales jobs available, because one, salesmen are the only people who make money for the company. Everyone's an expense. And two, no one wants to do it. So there are always going to be jobs in sales, and you have way more opportunities to pick from than the average guy. So you can hold on and hold out for what you want, assuming that it's in the ballpark of reality. Next up, how to research jobs. So the way I look, or used to look at job research, is I would treat that as my full-time job. And you are a salesman, so now your sales job is researching and finding a job. And the best site for doing that is Indeed.com. It's an aggregator of all the other job sites, and it's a good idea. You can also sign up with a few recruiting agencies. If you're living in a big city, you can find ones that specialize in filling sales positions. Many of them will just spam blast your resume, but whatever, it's just another angle to get you in the door. Just make sure, if you're using the recruiting services, that you've got everything you need to know before you interview. A lot of the information you can get online, but a lot of the times, if you're using a recruiter, you might as well make the most out of using them, right? Because they get a cut, they get paid off of you signing on the dotted line, so you might as well get as much value out of them as possible. And what I mean by that is, by the time you set foot in the interview, you should know how much the average guy makes there, how much the top guy makes, what is expected of you in terms of calls or meetings per week, how long the average person stays at the company. And a lot of the time the recruiters aren't going to know that, but you say, you tell them, look, can you get back to me on that? That's what I would need to know before I go into the interview. I don't want to waste anybody's time. Okay, and so that they'll contact the hiring manager or the sales manager, whoever, and they'll be able to find that out very easily. And that way you don't even have to waste your time going to an interview and finding out, okay, these guys, the top guy here only makes $70,000 and they want me to do 300-400 cold calls a day. No, thank you. You already know everything prior to that. And if you're not going through a recruiter, what you can do is Glassdoor.com. That's a terrific site, and it's going to tell you what the average person makes there. It's especially good if it's a big company, so you can have lots of people posting on there and saying what the salaries are. It's going to tell you what the company culture's like. They're going to have reviews, and especially look for the negative reviews. So the guy who got fired or whatever, and he's going to be the most likely one to tell you, okay, the manager's a real asshole here. They work you like dogs, that type of thing. The turnover is the average guy lasts 3 months, stuff like that. And that's going to be a company that you're going to want to avoid for the most part. A lot of the time when you see a company and you go to its website and it focuses on its youthful, aggressive culture, it's a chop shop. Okay, it might be a nice company and it might be selling nice product, but the way they treat their sales staff is going to be like a fucking boiler room, right? Because if there's no older guys there, you got to think why are there no older guys there? And the answer is going to be it's just a horrible high pressure environment that only young guys can take for like 6 months and they get fired. And the longest reigning guy has been there like 3 years or something. Not a place that you want to work, because chances are you can find a job that pays just as well or better with better conditions.